I was wrong in doing what I did.
No, no! No! Are you listening?
Sean here, and I haven't been really feeling that well. That's why there hasn't been a video. But I wanted to talk about Mr. Penis and why he thinks he's the man. He's such a good person. I think when Lorne was younger, I believe this. They always said good try to him. Always good try, good effort, good hustle. You hear that a lot. Good take. People don't make something. There's always a positive spin on it. It's a way for parents to cope with the fact that they may be trying to live through their kids and they're trying to cope with it, maybe trying to put a sugar coating on it to make themselves feel better. Lorne, I think that was his entire life. If he had ever achieved anything, if he had ever done anything great, he would be bringing it up all the time. He wouldn't have to pause and make it up. I don't know what he's done, as we've talked about before, but I do know he values himself not for what he's accomplished, not for the planning, but for what happened in between. These chairs are ridiculous. I apologize for that noise. Remember Debbie? I think we all do. She said, "Why do you deserve something? Sing to you, serenade you, give you the attention you deserve." That's effort. All of that is effort. Now, Lorne doesn't put in a whole lot of effort. He thinks that's how to win a woman over, is just simply do these little intangible things. But again, he's been praised for his effort when he was a kid. Lorne, that was a good try on the poem. Lorne, good try on spelling. Good try, Lorne, you almost hit the ball. When you're dealing with somebody who wants praise for effort, who wants a participation trophy. I've never been a fan of participation trophies. I've never received one in my life. When we had state championships in the long jump, I got 8th, and I got an 8th place ribbon. It went in the trash because I was not happy about it. I mean, I did take into consideration I'm a 5'11" white boy, not a lot of height, had to really get some spring in my step and work really hard just to get there, but the people out jumped me by like 1.5 feet, I think it was, that they won. I didn't use any excuses. I didn't do any of that because I realized you can take what you have and achieve whatever you want. You just have to find out what it is that you're good at. You have to kind of luck into it, maybe. Well, with Lorne, I think he would take that 9th place ribbon. It would be up on his wall, and he would accept the fact that he would never get any better than that 9th place. We know that if Lorne had achieved anything in his life, anything substantial, we'd be hearing about it all the time. Anytime these women talked about the doctor, anytime these women talked about the doctor and how he was saving lives, Lorne would have brought it up. The rest of us who were in the military that worked our ass off to get where we were, to earn the certificates and the awards that we did, we killed ourselves, especially in the Marine Corps. There aren't a lot of chances to get a high five or a good job. We used to joke around that in the Air Force they got surfing ribbons and skydiving ribbons and paragliding. So I figured Lorne would have at least some kind of award. You get maybe some kind of certificate, an appreciation award, a certificate of hard work for cleaning the inside of those fuel tanks or whatever he did. But he never brought it up, ever. And in the picture here, you can see on the right, there's a guy proudly wearing his uniform, probably told that story for the rest of his life. Same name. And it's amazing the difference that can be between people. There are other Sean McClures out there. And sometimes I wonder, what are they doing? What's their day-to-day life? At this point, it's literally get up, go to work, come home, kids, and then do some of my hobbies. That's pretty much where I'm at right now, until my son gets a little older. And then I think life will be a little different. My daughter will be going into college the year that she's going into her senior year. She'll be going to college the year after that. I know she wants to get the hell out of here. And all I can hope for is that she gets some kind of recognition, some kind of feeling of accomplishment. When Casey, in the latest Blue Boy call, asked Lorne, or at least in one of the latest, what are your accomplishments? What have you achieved? Lorne immediately goes right to, well, going to Lorne's a bad person. He knows he's a bad person. He knows he hasn't achieved anything. He had every chance in the world to not go to Bowling Green. He had every chance in the world to be successful before then. Now, there are successful people who go through parts of their lives where it's just terrible, and they make poor choices. They want to recapture their youth. But that wasn't what this was about for Lorne, and we're not going to go into that. He had every chance in the world to make something of himself. And I think this guy believes if you put in the effort, you should get the reward, regardless of if the effort takes you to where you need to be. He doesn't plan. He makes a quick plan. I want to be a country music singer. Okay, I'm going to move to Nashville. Okay, there's my effort. And I go to karaoke bars. There's my effort. Now where's my music contract? This guy, to this day, believes he would be dating some beautiful country music star if it wasn't for this sting. I've achieved a lot of my goals, but there are some I never achieved that I wish I did. We all want fame at one point or the other, but you hear people who've had it talk about the nightmare that it is. Lorne talks about money not being enough. Now, he was trying for a while to use being famous on NBC to pick up women, and that didn't work. But he always says it's not about money. You know, Hollywood makes a lot of movies. People with a lot of money, they talk about, well, it's not about money, it's about family. I think that's hilarious, because you got a bunch of rich people telling people, it's almost like we're trying to convince you, hold you back, please don't notice we have a lot of money. It's not about the money. It's about making the best of what you have, and that is true to some extent. With Lorne, though, it's not about the money, because if it was about the money, I'd have to admit that I was a colossal failure. He believes the rules apply to everyone else. It reminds me of when J.J. Abrams, during the quote-unquote Summer of Love, when people were being murdered and businesses were being burned down, he said no more hiding, no more white comfort, as he hid in his white comfortable mansion. He expects everybody else to deal with day-to-day things, with real life, but he shouldn't have to. And that's the way Lorne is. You guys should have to work for what you want, but I shouldn't. I'm not going to take that low-paying job because it's beneath me. All of his effort would have taken him to that low-paying job because that's what he's earned. He never did anything with his life. He was so terrible in school that he was handed his diploma. I mean, this is a guy that didn't go to try to continue his education. Some people went in the military and they learned a lot. Some people didn't. I mean, that's just a way of things. And Lorne went in the military and he didn't learn what he needed to learn. I mean, look at all the role models that were in there. All of them. I tell you guys stories, but I won't get into them. Sergeant Dennis, I will mention. He was a guy you would follow. Sergeant Lato, he'd follow these guys. Uniform were pressed. Shoes were spotless. Shaving, perfect. Not one little bit of stubble or an errant hair anywhere. You would look at them, as we talked about, and see success and what it looks like. Lorne doesn't know what success looks like, which is why I believe he thinks that putting effort in entitles him to a victory. He feels he's entitled to these women. He feels like they should want to come live in a place with 1,100 people and a 6% unemployment rate, and Lorne is in that 6%. So instead of 87, he's 94. He's in the bottom 6% of Cornville, Maine, of 1,100 people. Holy crap. So the top 94% of sucking, he's in there. 66 people out of 1,100 are unemployed, and Lorne Armstrong is one of them. 66 people of 1,100 are unemployed, and Lorne Armstrong is one of them. Give him that statistic and listen to all of the factors that he'll throw in there for why he's at the bottom. He's an 87. Sometimes I wonder what his real IQ is, because I think it might be 87. If he was questioned by a jury or a judge or anybody that in the legal system that might have any interest of who they were getting ready to try, they would probably think he doesn't need to be here. He's not competent to stand trial. Even though he knows the difference between right and wrong, I think he doesn't understand the justification for what he does, and that putting in the effort doesn't make something right and doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make something legal and doesn't make it wrong. He wants praise for, at least I didn't drink and drive last night. And we know the reason he didn't drink and drive is he didn't have access to a vehicle, or he probably passed out drunk. Everything he wants credit for, I was good for a day. I put in effort, I was good for a day. And we've talked about how these manipulators, these abusers, they change for a day, and they want recognition for that. And if they don't get that recognition, they're going to go back to acting the way they were, quicker than they normally would. It's just the way they operate. So if Lorne isn't getting praised for putting the effort in, even though he didn't reach his goal, he wants you to high-five him for spending a couple days looking for a job. I don't understand how you can live like that and be 66 out of 1,100. I wish it was 87 people out of 1,100. Now it's 1,161. I just rounded down for math's sake. And my math may be wrong. Maybe I hit the wrong numbers on the calculator. But he's in that 5.7 to 6% unemployment rate. When the woman wanted to get a divorce, Lorne would list everything he ever did. Well, you remember the time I brought you chocolates? I sang to you. I wrote you poems. All of this was stuff he wanted to do. He would be given a task. He would be told, I need you to do this. And we've also mentioned this before. He wouldn't do what he was told. He'd do what he wanted to do. And he would accomplish that. Because people like him, they will give themselves things that they can easily achieve to make themselves feel like they've accomplished. Move some dirt over here, move some dirt over there. Things like that. None of which better his life or better his chances to have a better life. None of that is helping. Fixing up his trailer. Not looking for a job, but quote unquote making money because he's doing the work himself rather than paying somebody else to do it. That's how he thinks. So he will never be anything because he doesn't want to put in the correct effort. He wants to put in things that make him feel like he's accomplishing something. Write us a short story, Lorne. Well, I gave you 110 words instead of 100. Yeah, but your story was garbage. The plot, the conflict, the resolution, none of it was there. It was just about a guy who didn't drink and drive one time. That was it. His life has no plot. It has no resolution. The conflict doesn't exist to him. If he wrote out his life, it would be a flat line. There wouldn't be the ups and downs that we have. It would just be a flat line. It would be a lot of peaks. A lot of peaks that aren't even really peaks. The whole thing with the sting, how he got one up on people. He figured out that the catfish were the catfish and they were treating him wrong. And the problem with people like this is that this is a guy who would write a movie script. It would never be made into a movie. But to him, that's all that needed to happen. Because it was the effort. I wrote it, the book. I wrote the book. I've accomplished something. Your book was terrible, Lorne, and the only people who read it are Lornographers because it's so bad. We have to try to make it good. It's that bad. It's not so bad, it's good. It's so bad, it's terrible. And we, luckily, can take terrible and make it funny. It wasn't until about 2 hours later that I realized the last part of this video did not record. And that's okay, because I think I've said what I need to say. I think going through life expecting something just for putting in the effort is a terrible way to live. You see it on social media. You see it in communities. I mean, hell, I put effort into this. I know what I want to do. Is this all I want to do? No. I found my broadcast mic, thank God. But I've set the goals realistic. Put out some videos. Try to support as many other Lorneographers as I can. And I consider that a win. When Lorne put out his YouTube channel, I truly believe he thought the Lorne reality show was going to break the world. I do believe that. And I believe he still thinks it would break the world, and that it is breaking the world. Put it this way, my YouTube channel, yeah, Lorne, they're all hilarity clicks. But he can't set realistic goals, and he wants a trophy for putting in the effort. Mom, why can't you see I'm great? Ramona, why can't you see I'm great? Winnie, why can't you see I'm the best boyfriend ever? His entire catfish saga has been him pushing the goalpost back, setting a new one. Every time he does something, every time he tries to do something, he wants praise and recognition, and it doesn't work, so he just goes back to rage. He doesn't know how to handle sadness, as we've talked about. And when you can't handle sadness, and you're an epic failure like him, it's a recipe for disaster. I love you guys. Proper videos coming soon. I got my streaming stuff set up and I tested it. So I'm hoping to do that very, very soon. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next proper video.
Hang on, I can't even catch my breath. Hang on.